Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
Fabulous. Cruising through this week. It'll be done before you know it. I cannot believe how fast a week goes by. We've got Labor Day coming up this weekend. That's kind of nice. Also coming up later in the program, I have Larry Hausner. He is a chief patient advocate at the Partnership for Fighting Chronic Disease. We're going to talk about Medicare negotiations and if that's good for you or not. So we're going to chat all about that. As a patient, you have the right. We're going to chat, find out. Hey, speaking of patients, I don't know if I would have patience for this. Audi, that's the car company?
Yes.
Audi, however you say it. They've got a new concept car with a built-in espresso machine between the front seats. Who needs that? That sounds awfully dangerous to me.
It does, because it takes you have to concentrate when you're making espresso, so I can't imagine that
driving
would be...
around, making stuff, spilling all over the place,
Yeah,
burning yourself. I just think that's a terrible,
bad idea.
terrible idea. As much as you like espresso, it's good stuff. I mean, get it from a place. Don't try to brew it while you're driving down the road. Not a good idea. Coming up, we're going to talk about eggs. That's on the way. It's egg-citing news on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
All right, Heidi. Eggs. Do you like eggs?
I do.
I do, too. I love eggs. I don't know if they're good for you this week or not. It seems like every other day
they're constantly changing their minds.
Because they say, eggs, have more eggs, that's good for you. Then they're like, oh, too many eggs will kill you. Well, according to the International Egg Commission, they usually have positive things to say. They say Hungarian men eat an average of 300 eggs a year, making them the leading egg consumers in the world. I probably eat more than that. You know, as long as we have eggs in the house, I like to make a little breakfast. I have a couple eggs for breakfast. So if you did that every day, 365 days a year, that'd be over 700 eggs. So they only do 300 a year, making them the leading egg consumers in the world. So I'm going to make this announcement. I am the leading egg consumer in the world. I don't know if I can really say that, but I love me some eggs. And you use eggs in recipes all the time as well.
Oh, yeah.
So it's an excellent thing to have around the house.
Wow.
All right. Coming up, we're going to talk about an amazing story that you have to believe because you're going to hear it on the radio.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
Each day I search high and low and try to find something that's just unbelievable, but it's a true story, and you know it's true because you hear it on the radio. Here's one of those stories. A man injures his back and has a heck of a time finding a ride back home from the hospital. This happened in Romania. Mijat Jordanov is a contractor by trade. He injured his back in a building accident. After a few days in the hospital, doctors told him, hey, you're good, you can go home now. But you can only be transported laying flat on your back. The problem was, he was building in a remote village hundreds of miles from his home. That's where the hospital, he was in that building. Under local laws, ambulances can only be used to transport people who live in, whose lives are in serious danger on a trek that far. So the ambulances say, we can't go that far. Several hundred miles, no can do. Taxi drivers refuse to take him, saying, I'm not properly insured.
Well, yeah, I can understand that.
So they said, we can't. So he borrowed a hearse from a friend who runs a funeral home, and he rode literally in a coffin all the way back to Romania. He explained it was the only way we could think of to make sure that I would lay completely flat all of the way.
Ew.
So this guy went to the hospital, and he left not in an ambulance, but he left in a hearse in a casket. And it was good news. That is so weird.
Yeah. I don't know how I would feel about laying down in a coffin.
You know what? It's probably cozy in there. I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe they're not. I don't know how padded they are. But how crazy is that he had so much trouble trying to find a ride home? He had to lay flat on his back. Couldn't do it in an ambulance. It was too far. Taxis say, no way, can't do that. So he had to do that. You'd think somebody would know, he'd have a friend with a minivan or something. I wouldn't ride in You just throw an air-up mattress in a minivan, you'd be good. You'd be all set. So there you go. Why didn't you call me? I could have fixed all that.
In Romania?
In Romania. I'm just saying, I could have given him the advice. I certainly wouldn't have driven there because that's too far. He's going to have to catch a ride with someone else. But coming up, we're going to talk about some fun things. And this little story we just talked about, you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. Sometimes you get the munchies, and, that can actually get you in a little bit of trouble. Police said a Bismarck, North Dakota man was arrested at a grocery store when workers found him in a deli table eating avocados and cakes and other items. Bismarck police say the 38-year-old man was intoxicated and had a hearty spread, including cake, cookies, plums. He was sitting in the deli area of Cashwise Foods. They say the avocado pits and the pistachio shells ended up on the floor on a connecting table as well in the store. He said the man told officers he had no money. He had no idea how he planned to pay for the food. They arrested him on a misdemeanor theft charge.
Oh, I see. I was wondering who cares if he was sitting there eating while he was drunk, but he stole the food.
He took the food from the grocery store and sat down and just decided to munch on it. When they came over and said, sir, you need to pay for this, he's like, yeah. Now who looks stupid? I have no money. So he got arrested because he was kind of drunk or stoned or something. It doesn't really say in the story. It says he was under the influence, but of what? Huh. All right. Coming up here in a bit, we've got your moment of duh. We're equal opportunity offenders. This next guy might not be drunk or stoned or anything, but it's doing something dumb, I guarantee you.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Heidi, have you ever just wanted to get a day off of work?
Yes.
Like you just want to take a day, a personal day. Well, that's what happened with James Ralph Snyder and Mary Jo Elizabeth Jensen of Waterloo, Iowa. They filed a fake obituary saying
oh my gosh,
that Mary Jo's 17-year-old son died so they could take some time off from their jobs. They had previously used the son's illness as a way to miss even more days of work. The plot was foiled when the son was spotted in a restaurant alive and well, not sick at all, not dead. But it isn't how the police found out. The police found out from the son who reported the scam. Because he was like, I don't know what's going on, but you guys are telling people I'm dead. I have people coming up to me saying, what are you doing here? I was told you were dead. No.
That's awful.
Yeah, so
that
Mom and Dad.
Awful. Why would you do that to your kid?
Yeah. Go to work.
Jeez.
Don't do that. That is crazy. So there you go. There's your moment of duh. Don't tell people somebody died when they didn't die. There was a thing about a week ago on Facebook. There's always celebrity, like fake deaths. People sharing things that somebody died. Now you can't believe it on there. Mm-hmm. I had a friend that said, this will be the first time in 666 years that Halloween lands on Friday the 13th. And he shared that on Facebook.
I saw that.
I said, here's the thing. Halloween's not on the 13th. It's on the 31st. It's not on a Friday this year. It's on a Saturday. Do you even look at the stuff before you repost it? People repost it. Did you repost it?
No,
okay.
I saw it, but I did not repost it.
People repost all the time. Check into these things before you repost them. Coming up, we have your Scoop of the Day.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
And this is your Scoop of the Day. Heidi, are you addicted to Facebook?
Yeah, probably.
And, I probably would say that I am as well. I'm on there a lot. I'm not on there as much as I used to be. I took the app off my phone, which I suggest if you feel like you're spending too much time, remove the apps and make it more difficult.
I took it off of my phone, too.
I can still get on there, but it's a little more difficult. Anyway, all those sneaky Workday newsfeed peaks add up. According to the new numbers from Facebook, they really, really, really add up. Guess how much time we're on Facebook every day?
I have no idea. A lot.
The company says the average user spends 46 minutes a day on Facebook.
Wow.
Hey, by the way, they spend more time than that listening to the radio. So just so you know, I want to make sure you guys understand. You might be hooked on radio, too. But a lot of the thing is people are on Facebook while they're at work being paid by someone. So, Yeah, you can be listening to radio at work too, but still do your job.
Yeah.
All right. According to a new poll, 38% of dog owners love their dogs more than their partners.
That's really sad? I
so
love
too.
my dogs.
I do too, but I love you more.
But if I had to choose, like, between something happened to you or something happened to one of the dogs, the choice would be pretty easy.
The dogs would get the nod every time, I'm sure. Survey shows dog owners find that their companions provide them emotional support and joy in their lives, but their spouse is just some dude they're married to. I'm like, I'm just married to him.
Some spouses are not very good at emotional support.
There you
go.
Well,
I mean, you know.
I'm here for you. All you have to do, Heidi, is scratch my belly, and I'm here for you. Maybe that's the dog that does that. Hey, do you know who Nicole Polizzi is? That's
no.
Snooki. If I say Snooki, does that ring a bell?
Okay, yeah, I know
Reality
who Snooki
star.
is. Yeah.
She responded to a report that her husband has an Ashley Madison account. She calls the whole thing absurd. I think the whole thing is absurd. And it's giving... You guys got to understand, I'm not saying that I'm for this website. I think it's a despicable website.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing that I think is interesting. The hackers are getting exactly what they want. So what's going to be the next account that somebody hacks and they're holding hostage and we're talking about it? So I shouldn't have even mentioned the darn thing. But it's getting all this exposure. But I agree with... Can't believe I'm saying this.
You agree with Snooki?
I can't believe I just... Yeah, well, you said it. But I think the whole thing is absurd. Hey, when you order decaffeinated coffee, your coffee apparently is not entirely decaffeinated. University of Florida study shows almost all decaf coffee has some caffeine. Could be a big, big thing for people who are told to avoid caffeine because of certain medications, like high blood pressure, kidney disease, anxiety disorders. Researchers say if you drink 5 to 10 cups of decaf every day, it could equal 2 cups of caffeinated coffee. Thing to remember is decaffeinated coffee is not the same as caffeine-free coffee. So if you're not supposed to have caffeine, I would suggest steering clear of that. Here's something you can drink, though. It's called water.
Yeah.
No caffeine in that. Hey, the director of the Congressional Budget Office admitted that nearly 800,000 Americans could potentially lose their jobs between 2013 and 2021 as a result of Obamacare. 800,000 Americans could lose their jobs. That is sad, sad stuff. No comment from Heidi.
I can't.
Because I won't let you.
I can't. I have things I would like to say, but I will not.
Moving back on. Sad movies are a dieter's best friend. Researchers gave 2 groups of people a milkshake. One group watched a happy movie. The other group watched a sad movie. Who sucked down more of the milkshake? The happy movie watchers, consuming nearly 100 calories more. Conclusions: happy movies make you eat more. There's my problem. I just like happy movies. The average American spends about an hour in the bathroom every day. Now, earlier we talked about Facebook, 46 minutes. If you're in the bathroom every day for more than that...
That's probably where the Facebook time is coming from.
Yeah, about an hour in the bathroom every day or 2 weeks per year. A survey by the National Association for Continence found that a third of the respondents said they find comfort... And
how would you like to work there?
Yeah, where do you work? It's kind of a crappy job, but... They find comfort and relief from stresses in the bathroom, so they go hang out in there just to get away from it all. And our strange law. Drivers cannot be blindfolded while operating a vehicle in Alabama. That's the law.
I would hope that that's the law everywhere.
It's not the law everywhere else, but it is the law there. Because somebody apparently tried that. They're like, hey, watch this. I know my way to work so well. I'm going to do it blindfolded. So, keep your blindfolds off and keep your radios up. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Larry Hausner is our special guest today. He is the Chief Patient Advocate for the Partnership to Fight Chronic Disease. Larry, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Very good, John. Very good.
And Larry, as I read your bio, I see that you used to be with the American Diabetes Association. Thank you so much for your time there. What a great organization.
Terrific organization. I loved my time there. We did a lot for people with diabetes.
Well, my family has a history of diabetes, so thank you for your time there. And fortunately, knock on wood, right now I have not been diagnosed, but I know that runs in the family. So a big thank you for all that you've done there. Now let's turn our attention to Medicare negotiations. That's what we're going to talk about today. Again, Larry is now the Chief Patient Advocate at the Partnership to Fight Chronic Disease. So, Larry, do you think negotiations is good or bad with Medicare?
I mean, right now we're talking about Part D in Medicare, which is the coverage for prescription drugs. I think that the current program that the government has been working. 90% of the 37 million seniors who are on Part D say they're satisfied. 85% say it's a good value. I think that we need to continue to be able to have seniors have access to medication and not step into a program that has been working, has been fiscally stable. The price of the program, the annual premiums have been at about $32.50 per patient, and has been pretty stable for 5 years, been in that $30 to $35 range.
So, Larry, as a patient, are there things that I could do or should do that could actually help in this situation?
Well, I mean, as a patient, I mean, this really comes down to the increase of chronic diseases in the United States. So chronic diseases, which are the top cause of death and disability in the U.S., count for about 84% of healthcare spending, or about $3.8 trillion. Right now, about 50% of Americans have one or more chronic diseases. Half of those people, just under 25%, have two or more chronic diseases. When someone has two or more chronic diseases, their expenses from prescription drug to healthcare costs in total are about 5 times greater than somebody else. So yes, there are things that we can do, and what it is that we can do is really work much harder on the prevention side and the wellness side. And when I say prevention also includes adherence to your medications that you're currently on, that you need to take the medications as prescribed by your doctor. So John, when I was at the American Diabetes Association, we found that when someone with diabetes got a prescription, about 25% of them never filled that prescription.
Oh, wow.
And then of those that filled the prescription, another 25% or so didn't use the drug as prescribed. You know, they say, I can't afford it, or it's not doing anything for me. So people think they're on medication, but they're not on medication the way it was prescribed. And if they are, they will increase their wellness. They will decrease their costs down the road. They will decrease hospitalizations. They will decrease emergency room visits. And all of those things are places where all of us as taxpayers can save money. And to me, that's a lot of this issue. This issue is because of the number of people who currently have chronic diseases and the fact that it's moving in the wrong direction.
And Larry, that's absolutely shocking to me when you're talking about people are diagnosed with things and doctors tell them they need to take this prescription, and up to as many as 25% of the people are going, you know what, I'm just not going to do it. That is crazy.
Yep.
Well, like Grandma used to say, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, and I know that you were talking about how important prevention is, and there's so many preventable diseases that we know that the actions that we're taking are going to cause problems, but we still take those actions. But maybe that old adage really makes a ton of sense right now. An ounce of prevention really is worth a pound of cure.
It really does, John. Let me just give you a couple of numbers here about this. I mean, what we need to do as individuals, and when I say individuals, I mean for ourselves, for our family, for our community, that we need to spread our knowledge so people start to understand this better, that we need to lower our risks. And to lower our risks, we need to do things like a little bit more exercise. You know, I mean, I'm not saying you have to be in the gym for 2 hours a day, but today 52% of adults don't meet the federal recommendations for physical activity. We need to have better nutrition. Today, more than a third of Americans say they eat less than one piece of fruit a day. They eat just over one serving of vegetables, and 90% of us consume too much sodium. And these are things, they're easy to understand what you need to do, but we all know they're not easy to do. It's very easy to say, you know, it's January 1st, I'm going to go to the gym every day, I'm going to walk every day, I'm going to eat better. But we've all built habits, and all those habits are not necessarily the habits we want to continue in the future. So we need to do this as a team, that we need to do this with our family, we need to do this with our friends, we need to do this with our community, where we can get out there and start to change our behavior patterns. There still are 20% of Americans that smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no one that thinks that's good.
No, not at all. Again, we're visiting right now with Larry Hausner, the Chief Patient Advocate for the Partnership to Fight Chronic Disease. Now, when we think about, preventable diseases, we've got access to so much information right now. I know at one point there were people who could claim, well, I didn't know that was bad for me. But who in 2015 doesn't know that smoking is bad for you? It's printed right on the side of the package. And not to just pick on smokers, there's a lot of things that are bad for you that people make the decisions over and over and over. Is there a place to go? Maybe if I have a loved one, or if I just want to get more information, is there a convenient place online where I can go to get some more of this information, Larry?
www.fightchronicdisease.org. And it's a good starting place because there are so many partners of this organization, from business and labor groups to coalitions of patients groups, provider groups, community groups, health policy experts. So there are a lot of resources there depending on what you're looking for to move around the internet very easily.
Again, the website is fightchronicdisease.org, and I'm going to check that out as well because, like many, I could probably use the information just as much as the next guy.
Yeah, no, we're all there. I mean, basically, I think, John, the crisis is pretty clear. Chronic diseases are really crushing our healthcare system. They take a heavy toll on its ability to handle this load. Now, even though many of us, as I said before, understand the issue, we just aren't doing enough to change the outcomes, and the trends are continuing to move in the wrong direction. And we need to work hard to make those changes so that we can all live healthier, happier lives moving forward.
And by doing that, we live longer lives as well.
Yes.
Larry, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us on the program here today.
No problem, John. Thank you very much for having me on.
Again, Larry Hausner is the Chief Patient Advocate for the Partnership to Fight Chronic Disease. You can learn more on their website at fightchronicdisease.org. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by carsforsale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at carsforsale.com.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Today is Thursday, the third day of September. So it means today's Penny Press Day.
Penny press.
I wonder if that's the thing. Like if you go to a tourist attraction,
and they
you put in 50 cents and then you put in a penny.
Which I never understood.
And then you destroy the penny.
Isn't it illegal to deface money?
Uh-huh.
Isn't that what you're doing?
Yeah, I think so.
And you're paying for it?
Pretty much, 50 cents. Maybe it's $1 now. I haven't done it in a long time. And I will not admit if I've ever done it, because if it is illegal, I don't want to do it. I plead the fifth, Heidi. I plead the fifth. It is also Skyscraper Day today. So,
I like skyscrapers.
I do too. Skyscrapers are pretty darn cool. So Skyscraper Day, Penny Press Day, and if you know somebody celebrating a birthday today, well, happy birthday to those good folks too. It is a special day. Get out and celebrate it. It's Thursday, the third day of September. Coming up, can a clean house make you sick? Maybe. We'll tell you all about that on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Every once in a while, I will refer to you as Tidy Heidi because you like to have things neat and orderly. And we can't leave stuff sitting around the house. Ooh.
I don't like things messy.
Is this your coffee cup over here? I'm like, yeah, I'm still drinking out of it. And by the way, yeah, there's coffee in there. Well, don't keep your house too clean, folks, because it could make you sick. Research has found that people who live in immaculate homes don't get exposed to small amounts of bacteria, but that's important because that immunizes you against other ailments like Crohn's disease and also other things like colitis. So they're saying if it's too tidy and clean, that could actually backfire and cause bigger problems. So get your healthy dose of bacteria every single day. Just, keep things nice and messy like my side of this office.
You know what? It's not about messy. It's about being too clean, like hospital clean.
Oh, you mean like
Our
sterilization?
House is nothing like that.
No, that's not. No.
Everything is tidy and put away.
Yeah.
But it's usually pretty dirty when you get right down to it. The dust.
So it looks good from a distance?
Yeah.
Driving by, I'm like, oh, that's a nice looking house.
Which is what I want. I want it to look nice when people come in.
Okie dokie. Coming up, we're going to talk about a dude that painted himself. We'll tell you why on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
All right, this is a weird story. A man paints himself white because he can't get a job. Is it due to racism? Well, not quite. Take a listen to the story here. A Romanian man painted himself white and threatened to jump off of the roof of a block of flats because, and I quote, "I'm sick of being unemployed." Oriol Herda has complained that the government is whitewashing the economy. This is in Romania, by the way. Fire crews and medical staff finally convinced him to come down. So
That's too bad.
it is very sad. The guy wants to work, and he's saying he can't get a job. They're whitewashing the economy, whatever that means. I'm not even sure what that means. So he painted himself completely white and threatened to jump off the roof of a building. Now, that is typically not the best way to meet somebody and say, that's the guy I want in my company.
I want to hire him.
So here's the thing I'm going to suggest. If you're unemployed and you want to stand out, don't do it by causing a scene for the entire community and having people on the other side of the globe talk about you. This dude was in Romania. But if you do want to get a job, stand out. When you go in and apply for a job, stand out.
By painting yourself white.
Don't paint yourself. No. Stand out by having a good firm handshake, by making eye contact, by following up some more.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, people apply for jobs and never follow up, and they go, well, apparently I'm not the right one for the job. Follow up.
That's
it's important
very
stuff.
important.
Really is. All right, coming up, can you grow new teeth after your baby teeth are gone and then your other teeth are gone? Well, I don't know. We're going to tell you all about that coming up. It's kind of an interesting concept, isn't it? Growing teeth after your teeth. Well, apparently it happened to a guy.
Huh.
He's 95.
After his grown-up teeth were...
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
We're going to tell you what happened. And this is a guy from Vietnam. He's 95 years old. That is on the way. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
Heidi, do you remember when you had your baby teeth and like you lost them and the tooth fairy came and gave you some money? Remember
Yes.
that? Get over here. You're like on the other side of the room. What are
Yes,
you doing over
I
there?
remember.
Well, once you lose those teeth and you grow in the new ones, it's kind of done, right? You can't just keep losing them and cashing them in.
That's what they say.
Well, there's a dude over in Vietnam. He's 95, and he watched his teeth gradually drop out after 20 years. He started growing teeth again now. Has a dozen new teeth. He started teething about 5 years ago when he was age 90, growing both front and molar teeth that are as white as baby teeth.
Really?
And has now been able to switch away from what had become routine meals of broth and steamed rice. Now he can chomp down on whatever he wants. So I wonder why he had 3 sets of teeth. Because he had teeth that fell out. Then he had more teeth that he didn't take care of and they fell out. And now he's on his 3rd set of teeth. That would be really cool if you could just do that.
That's actually fascinating.
It is. It'd be really cool if you could just do that all the time. You're like, I don't really like these teeth. I'm going to just yank them out and grow some new ones. Well, he was 90 when it started happening. So maybe if we wait that long, we'll all have them. Coming up, we've got some really interesting things about college freshmen that are going to school right now and the way their lives have been. Interesting stuff on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
I've seen this before. Beloit University does this every year. Members entering the college class of 2019, most of which were born in 96 or 97. Here are some things about them that you don't even really think about, but they've probably never licked a postage stamp. They've always had sticky stamps.
They've always been self-adhesive.
They've assumed that Wi-Fi was an entitlement and everybody should have it. They have no first-hand experience of Princess Diana's charismatic celebrity because, you know, they never knew her other than through she was gone. For students entering college this fall, the class of 2019 is what they would be, Google has always been there.
Isn't that crazy?
They've never lived without it. They've never licked a stamp. 4 foul-mouthed kids have always been playing in South Park. That's been around since they've been born. They grew up with Wi-Fi everywhere. Fish food has always been available from Ben & Jerry's. So whatever that is, fish food, that must be a...
Is it kind of ice cream?
It must be. I don't know. We're too old,
We're
Heidi.
way older than...
The eyes of Texas have never looked upon the Houston Oilers, so that they've never had that. 15 nations have always been constructing the International Space Station. They've been working on that their entire lives. Lion King has been on Broadway their entire life. First responders have always been heroes. Sir Paul and Sir Elton have always been knights of the same musical roundtable. Splenda has always been a sweetener option their entire life. And TV has always had such high definition that you could see pores of actors and grimaces on quarterback faces. They don't remember, like the little screens that we had. Their entire life, they've had big screen TVs and, high definition type TVs. So kids that are going to be college freshmen this year.
That's crazy.
All of that stuff. And here's the thing. That doesn't make you bad. That doesn't make you good. That just means that that's who you are. And if you don't know what it's like to roll down a window in a car with a knob rather than a button, maybe you just need to go ride with Grandma and Grandpa someday and see what that's all about. Our kids, remember when they rode in a car for the first time, they had a crank instead of
they were like, what is
And I told him, he
this?
said, roll my window down. I said, you have to do it, that thing. And he pushed the knob. I laughed so hard. I was like, what was that? That's not how that works. All right, coming up here in a moment, we're going to wrap things up with something positive. That's on the way on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
We always try to end things on a positive note, and I got a couple of fun stories. Hopefully we can get to both of them. A London magician had a special romantic trick up his sleeve, and this was at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. According to Time magazine, he took a piece of string and a wine glass of alphabet soup, and he drank the soup, and then he put the string in his mouth, and Neil Henry proposed to his girlfriend by pulling the string out of his mouth, and it spelled out, "Marry me."
Oh.
Then he got down on one knee and pulled out a ring. I don't know if that was on the end of the string or where that was, but that was his magic trick. That's really kind of cool.
Huh.
If I were going to do it, I wouldn't use alphabet soup. I would use alphabets. Remember the cereal?
Yeah, the cereal.
That was good stuff. I never have that. We should get some of that.
We haven't had that for ages.
It's been a long time. Okay, beginning this school year, if you've got a fourth grader, cha-ching. Listen to this, Heidi. I've never heard of this. Fourth graders in the United States, and their families too, will be entitled to free admission to America's national parks, federal lands, and waters. It's part of the White House's Every Kid in the Park initiative. The program is made possible by the National Park Service and the National Park Foundation. The objective is to introduce kids to outdoor recreation. Students need to sign up online, and they'll get a voucher that grants entrance to the student and a carload of passengers to federal recreation areas for a full year. Fourth graders only. We missed that by a few years.
Why is that fourth graders?
I don't know, but
What?
maybe it was a fourth grader that sent in the idea.
Third graders shouldn't have access to
Well,
the parks?
you better
Fifth
have a-
graders shouldn't have access to
Don't
the
know.
parks?
I'm not sure how they did it, but they came out with a way that said, hey, fourth graders are the most deserving grade. I don't know.
Well.
I have no clue. Like I said, maybe it was a fourth grader that wrote in and said, you should do this. And they said, fine. We're going to give that to all fourth graders now that you're in eighth grade. All right. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We appreciate it a bunch. Got a lot of fun stuff planned for the program tomorrow as well, so be sure to come right back here. Same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can save time and save money and shave like a rock star. All you got to do is go to their website. You buy razors. It's $1 a month plus $2 shipping. So $3 a month and you are in awesome razors all month long. You can sign up for really good ones at the $6 level. So it's $6 a month delivered. Or for $9 a month, you'll be shaving like the coolest people on the planet, because it's the executive series, really, really good ones. You feel like a billionaire when you shave. And you can get all of the information at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Yeah, there you go. I'm not, for whatever reason, my brain turned off like 10 minutes ago. Did you notice this?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what happened here. All right, I'm going to save this for later because I got so much to get to. How about this? In Albuquerque, New Mexico, Alberto J. Vasquez did pretty well when he donned a mask and robbed a Dunkin' Donuts. He and a friend made off with over $1,400. However, Alberto used to work at the same place as an employee, and they recognized his voice during the robbery. Even more certain that it was him, his nickname was AJ, and his accomplice kept saying, "Come on, AJ!" Police followed a trail of coins and footprints that led directly to his apartment, 2 doors down from the shop. So he didn't do really well, robbing a place he used to work, letting his friend call him by his nickname, and then dropping coins all the way to his apartment. Not the smartest thing you've ever done. Well, then again, maybe it is the smartest thing he's ever done. Jace Lewis. Now, I got to say something. I had never heard the name Jace before, and now there's a Jace on Duck Dynasty, and I'm hearing that name a lot.
And you know what? I've heard it a lot from other places.
Yeah, but I had never heard that before, but now I know a Jace. And there's a Jace on Duck Dynasty. And this kid here, the one that I know is like 16. This kid is 18. So apparently it's been around. We just never knew any Jaces.
Yeah.
So Jace Lewis, 18, and 17-year-old friend from Prineville, Oregon. Like many teenagers in the West, they went shooting signs. Driving along the roadside, see a sign, take aim, and boom. What they didn't pay attention to was what the signs read. They took aim at one sheriff's deputy sign that said, "Training exercise ahead." Officers started chasing the teens within seconds. Now they face charges of criminal mischief. So they weren't reading the signs. The one flat out said there's police officers ahead that are training, and these guys are shooting at that sign. Bad idea, kids. And then I've got something that's really kind of fun here. It's called Scrabble Mix-Up. You can use the same letters in these words to make these other words. You ready for this, Heidi?
Ready.
Why don't you join me over here for a minute? What are you doing over there?
Sorry. I'm ready.
We're almost done.
Okay.
Just hang with me. I understand whatever you're working on is probably way more fascinating than this.
Okay.
All right. Dormitory. You know you can rearrange those letters to spell dirty room?
Which is what it is
It
usually.
is. Presbyterian. You can rearrange the letters to say best in prayer.
Oh.
Astronomer. Rearrange the letters. Moon starer.
Oh.
Desperation can be rearranged to a rope ends it. Ooh, that's not good.
Ew.
The eyes can be rearranged to say they see. George Bush rearranges he bugs gore.
Oh, that's funny.
The Morse code, that can be rearranged to say here comes dots. Slot machines can be rearranged to say cash lost in me. Amnesty can be arranged to is no amity. I don't know what that means exactly.
I don't know.
Election results can be rearranged to lies, let's recount.
Yeah.
Snooze alarms can be rearranged to alas, no more Z's. A decimal point, all spelled out, can be rearranged to I'm a dot in place. And finally, now I'm not saying that I agree with this, mother-in-law can be those letters can be rearranged to spell out woman Hitler.
You know, who has the time to screw around with these words?
Somebody. They got time, and they're like, let's see what else we can make. What can you make with John and Heidi Show? John and Heidi Show. I'll tell you what. You tell me what you can make with that, and we'll make. I'll find you a prize of some kind. Email it to. Let's just have you email it to us, at johnandheidishow.com. Be creative, but please be nice. I'm not sure what the prize will be. I suppose it depends on where you send it from, but we'll hook you up with something. You know what? Maybe we could hook them up with a couple months of free razors from Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah, we'll see.
If that's what you want. We'll talk about it. Whatever you want.
We'll see how good it is.
We'll come up with a prize. So let me know what else you can spell with John and Heidi Show. Send it to us at johnandheidishow.com. Bonus Break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.